Good afternoon, and it's Lilia from Peel, Scotland, and Scotland's Wild Medicine here. And today with me I have the singing heart, the wonderful Sue Stubbs. Sue, thank you so much for coming to the festival. You were a huge support to me at the community up at Barmola. I observed what, well, it wasn't what we'd call maybe traditional singing, but certainly using the voice and sounds. I saw what it did to people and what your techniques can do. So thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, looking forward to coming to Tarbert and sharing the vibrations, literally.
Yes, that's exactly it. You've just hit it in the nail in the head there. You know, it's as I say, I saw it firsthand. There was one week you came, because you came every week and you gave your time, just because you're so passionate and you understand that this works and assists in the healing process. But there was one time where you did a 3-hour session and literally everybody was high as a kite. So can you just talk a little bit about the methods or techniques or whatever it is, the language around that?
Yeah, it's like an ocean singing, isn't it? I mean, I think we're the first generation, this generation, the last generation in the West, where singing has not been as common and as natural as breathing. You know, you think of every single culture and every single generation. Singing has just been something that everybody does, and there's no attention paid to whether you were a so-called good singer or a bad singer. And I think this sort of split between the professionals or the people who are good at stuff and those who are not is so damaging. So that's my dog licking a food bowl in the background. Yeah, and people say, I've had so many people come to me who say I can't sing, or I was saying, it's like saying I can't breathe when you're alive. It's like you wouldn't say to someone, are you a breather or are you not a breather? So, singing is as natural, literally, as being alive. And it is, yeah, I mean, there are hundreds and thousands of different approaches, which all, I was just revising today some of the impacts on the body from a health perspective. And, we never used to need to explain that or to justify it in any way. But now, and it's good, it's not a bad thing that the science is backing up everything that people have known for thousands of years. But it's on the other hand, it's like, just trust your body, trust, how it feels when you've had a good sing song and you see when children are born, young children, they naturally walk around sort of singing, and they will repeat anything that anybody sings to them without wondering whether they've got it right or wrong. But just to go into the science a bit, so you've got your endorphins that are released, you've got production of oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone, you've got serotonin increase, better dopamine. It increases oxygen to the brain, decreases cortisol levels, the stress hormone, increases antibodies that boost the immune system. It can create alternative neural pathways in the brain, which increases the overall neuroplasticity of the brain. And it strengthens the immune system. So studies have shown that immunoglobulin can increase up to 240%. Strengthens the heart, circulation, the lungs. Even if you're living with some chronic condition, breathing condition or heart condition, it will improve it, will help you to manage it, will help you to, sort of have a better experience of whatever stage of life and whatever situation you're in.
Yes, I mean, it's changing all the chemistry, the neurochemicals, the neurotransmitters. It's everything. There's no system that's not been affected by it, and I think that's what we always do in the West, isn't it? We like to split things up, as if of course your heart probably opens, the blood starts to move, and there's I notice now if I sing sometimes I get quite tired because I'm putting all this energy into it, and I'm like, oh God, it does take actually energy to sing, especially the way I do it.
Well, that's interesting you should say that, because that's a perfect segue into the particular form of singing that I focus on. I mean, it's called the singing heart, because it's very much, there's lots of fabulous choirs where it's about just being out there and being loud and that's great. And there's a whole other level where it's about just letting go of everything we put on top of being our natural voice just coming through us, or if you like, the voice, beyond the self.
Yes.
And so the approach to singing that I work with, based on thousands of years tradition of the Indian classical raga system, is about singing without effort. Indian classical singers can sing 5-6 hours with no strain, but we try to sing, we push, we force and also today, people, we're not rooted, we're not in our bodies, we're sort of, our whole center of gravity is from the neck upwards. So when we start to try and be loud immediately, we strain our voice, we damage our voice. So what I do is a lot of grounding, relaxing practices, and the whole practice of Indian raga singing is about just stopping adding anything on to what is already there, and to let go of any judgment. So we welcome the wobbly voices, the crackly voices, the gravelly voices. It's about embracing and fully accepting just vibration coming through the body, and spending minutes, hours, just going deeper and deeper into making less effort. So in that sense, it's a sort of ultimate sound meditation. Just as in meditation, your aim is to be present, but to not be not trying, to be just with whatever is there. That's the practice in the singing. So it's incredibly simple, but it can take years and it can take lifetimes to really just find that place where there's no sort of, you could call it ego, you could call it personality, you could call it whatever, that's on top of what is the original vibration. But when we can touch that, even though it can take a long time to become established in that, you can touch it very quickly. So in an hour's session, you can have that experience of really where your vibration is the same vibration as the resonance in the universe, which we know physics again has proved to us that it's all vibration. So, and and that experience is one of ecstasy, it's one of bliss, because there's no separation. We're physically, cellularly experiencing that we are one vibration. And that, I mean, it's very, very relaxing, deeply nurturing, deeply healing. It vibrates the cells at a very fine level. And yes, initially it can be exhausting, because what it will do is it brings us up against the self that resists letting go. So that's where the effort is. There isn't any effort in the singing. The effort is in the fact that we're resisting letting go. And so I just ran a workshop in France last weekend, and, people were sort of in the lunch break, they were all like spread out, crashed out, because they'd spent weeks and months just holding themselves up, sort of working through stuff, pushing through, sort of forcing themselves through life. And this allowed them to find that place of really deep relaxation. And when you've bottomed out, when you've gone to that place, then real energy can come. That's a whole different level of energy that's much more natural, much more freeing.
Yes, I did some qigong with this amazing girl yesterday, and that's exactly what she was saying. It's about allowing that energy to move. And I think all of us in the West, we don't realize that we're inhibiting the flow of energy. And the more stressed, I mean, it seems to be that there's so many people stressed and angry and unwell. and the news all around the world. If you tune into that, you're going to have that sensation of like, oh, kicking off your nervous system, creating contraction and constriction in the flow of energy. And also, I think, as somebody who helps people set out protocols for healing, what a lovely one to do. Because so many are just so effortful and such a dramatic change that you end up not doing them. Whereas singing is part of a healing, process is just, and again, I think we're starting to understand now because there's so much sound healing going on, and the science is mind blowing as to what the body can release with using frequencies. So I think now we are starting to wake up, right? And all the humming and the chanting, how it affects the brain waves, how it affects the cellular integrity. It's the science is very clear now. We were designed to sing and make noises. So can you talk about the Indian raga you said? Can you explain what the difference is between going to the karaoke?
I suppose, yeah, there's many layers to the human being. So the karaoke is like your direction is outwards. It's expressing your personality or your enjoyment of different songs. There's the gaze is sort of out there, and with the Indian singing, it's goes beneath time, beneath space, if you like. It goes to that very deep inner part of the self that is nothing to do with personality or preference or even emotion. So different emotions may arise, but that's just like the ripples on top of the ocean. Whereas this takes you down into the depths. And I can give an example.
Yeah.
So.
I'm actually feeling relaxed listening to you do that.
That's it. With 2 or 3 notes can send you into a deep state of relaxation. You don't have to sort of scan, go through a whole process. It's just literally, I think, returns us to something really essential.
Yes.
And, there's a whole, it's thousands of years of experience of how the ragas are worked with, they're, I suppose, yeah, it's difficult to explain what a raga is. It's not just a structure. It's got a whole personality. They're like sort of particular essences of the universe in a way that have different characteristics. And in the whole Ayurvedic system, there's a system of actually healing specific bodily ailments with particular ragas, because they have particular vibrational qualities and particular ways of impacting on the body.
Yes.
You know, there's midnight ragas that can help insomnia, and there's ragas that can help stomach conditions and nervous conditions and anxiety. And you know, we can know about that with the head, but the beautiful thing as well is that, and particularly how I teach it, I basically ask people to leave their heads outside the room, you know, and just literally get back into that very childlike mode of just hearing and repeating. So I will sing a simple note or a phrase, and people just repeat from a place of really opening the mouth, the body. We don't even open our mouths, you know. It's like when people first start to sing, they're going sa, or they're singing from here like sa instead of sa. So it's like learning how to relax and open and just let go of the control of the face, and to not be singing from here, but singing as if you have a big mouth in the heart area.
So you're going to be at the festival, which I'm so appreciative and delighted, because I've not seen you for so long. Of course, you used to live in Argyll, but I've not actually seen you, I don't think, since you moved. So it's going to be fantastic to catch up properly. And so what are we going to be doing at the festival for people that want to come and experience this? Because you really need to do it, don't you? In your own body, and get the feeling, because that's when you're like, wow.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a session that, you know, it doesn't matter whether you think you can sing or you think you're terrible at singing, or whether you've ever sung, or whether you're a professional. It's relevant to everybody. So I'll start by leading us through some very simple sort of meditative practices to root the body, to open the hearing. And then we will have, we will explore one or two of the ragas. So I gave a very small demonstration. So I will, you know, sing a phrase, ask people to just hear and repeat and hear and repeat. And I will work with people, depending on how many, either generally or individually, to encourage people to find little ways to relax, to increase the resonance, increase the flexibility of the voice. And then I generally just sort of, I have a whole sort of kit bag of possible things. So, you know, we usually start with very low, soft, quiet vibrations to loosen up the body. It's like tenderize the body. And then it could end up being a whole different mood. There could be some chants if people are interested in doing particular chants. And a chant is just something that's repeated. You know, there's many different chants. And I was reading the other day, it's interesting because we already have chants in our mind, you know, which are often complaints that just go through our head all the time. That's a form of chanting. When we repeat any repeated thought or things that we find ourselves saying, and what intentionally choosing a chant that is going to sort of encourage different level of vibration, that can override, that can be a very quick way to override any of that disturbing thoughts or negativity. So we may do some, you know, explore chanting as well. So
yeah, I mean, you've been at the goddess gatherings as well, because I remember at Portavadi, we all ended up dancing, and it was great. But not tell people, sometimes people get scared about dancing. We get scared about dancing and singing. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's lovely to hear you really explain. It's not about entertaining anybody.
Not at all. No.
The frequency and the vibration through your cells. Would you say, I mean, everybody that all my clients right now, I've got a device that can take a print of their voice and gives me a real indication as to what's happening in their digestive system, their body, their mind, their biofield. pretty much everybody's in some form of adrenal response, stressed. So I'm assuming this would be really good for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it really sort of works with, it's probably really sort of one of the best shortcuts into reducing stress and the cortisol levels, and actually really deeply physically relaxing, because you can't resist. It doesn't matter what you're thinking. The vibration actually impacts on every cell in the body. And even if you're, just lying down in the middle of the space and not actually singing yourself, it's still working on you.
Yes, yes.
I mean, it's a two-way thing. It's the hearing and it's the opening of the body. It's like we can close our eyes and not see stuff, but it's difficult to actually really block out. Well, even if you close your ears, the vibration's still actually going in your body.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I was talking about the sound healing frequencies we have. I was like, well, what about people who are deaf? And they said, oh, they still work. The frequencies are still going through the body. You just don't get to hear them. So yeah, and I think, people are so tired just now, and there's so many things that you can do. And I think it's really nice if there's just something that you think, I could do that. I'm not going to think, oh, I've got to make that noise. I think it's a really practical, simple, and enjoyable thing to do. And that's really what we're looking for. Rather than saying, don't eat this, don't eat that, you need to exercise more. All the things that we know, influence the body. But I think it's really nice. That's what I'm so excited about the festival, to show people all these other things that you can do. So if you do a bit of moving your body to music, if you do a bit of raga, if you stick some more ferments into your diet, you're going to feel better quite quickly. I love my friend John. He always says, feeling good's not that far away. It doesn't need to be. But I think that's the thing. It's a bit like if you've got a lot of weight to lose, you can think, oh, I don't know where to start. And it seems overwhelming. So, and I think healing can feel like that too, or releasing anxiety. So I think it's really nice to have simple things. We've got the science, we have the data, we know it works. Now, all you have to do is come and give it a bash.
Yeah.
So, and listen, are you teaching around Glasgow for people that want to get in touch with you? And
at the moment, I'm doing sort of a monthly online workshop.
Okay. What have you got a website?
Yeah.
Are there events on that?
No, but you can sign up to my mailing list on it. I don't really keep the website updated, but it's thesingingheart.com.
The Singing Heart.
Thesingingheart.com. And the workshops last usually Saturday morning. They usually go from 10 till 1:30, and they incorporate the meditative practices, some connection with others, so sort of sharing our experiences of the practice, some raga singing, and a sort of heart space to offer some song if we want to. So it's a sort of diverse, very deeply nurturing session. And I do Song of the Heart weekends. As I say, I've just done one in France. I did one in London in February. Haven't really got going around the Glasgow area yet.
We need to change that. Well, you've been in mourning because you lost your darling partner.
Yeah.
So once you're back kind of feeling up to that, we can, I can help you, because obviously I'm becoming a venue expert. And, encourage people to come along. Maybe we could do something together.
Yeah.
Some singing and, and some letting go and some breath work. That would be nice.
That would be brilliant. Yes. Yeah.
So, well, listen, thank you so much. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Well, 2 weeks.
Is it only 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Maybe we'll get some spring weather by then.
Well, yeah, I'm holding out. I'm like, come on. It was the Saturday last year was absolutely roasting. But it was also that cold wind, that but anyway, as long as it's dry, we've got some beautiful, areas to do all these amazing workshops. It's absolutely jam-packed with fantastic stuff. And Sarah was saying it's like a buffet. You can just go round and find all these different things, and the full program is on the website healscotland.com. So thank you so much, and I will see you really soon.
Great. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks.
That's people saying they're relaxed already, so that's great.
Ah.
Ciao, guys.